Hello there. This is Honest Klaud. I'm Eric Elliott.
I'm Rodney Elliott.
And what's going on with your Star Wars attachment?
The same as last time. I'm looking for Ahsoka to come out. You gave me a little education on who were the might actually be some major writers for Star Wars recently that blew my mind. Like, oh, this is a lot of information.
Yeah, I'm going to leave a video in the description about a woman named Lee Brackett who very likely had done, screenplay writing for the original Star Wars, not just Empire, as she's credited on the poster.
I think George bleeds on the paper, and he doesn't like writing that much.
Yeah.
But with her pretty much guiding you, having all this, the storyline and everything, I can go back and check this part. I hate writing myself, but it's not my strong suit. But I think he was a visual person, and their combination of both was great. But to be listed as just a ghostwriter for the first one, I don't know if their family got benefits or benefit from her genius, but yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's a multi-billion dollar industry. Like, even if you take out movies, you still got so much merchandise. You got toys, you got attractions, you got everything in. Like, you have possibly the biggest entertainment company of all time, Disney, in the helm of it. So you would hope that they would get at least pay, but
I
doubt it highly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we're making money on this. Why disturb a hornet's nest of litigation that could come that way? I understand why they wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm like, they're a corporation. I'm like, they're only in interest of spending money if that it can pay back in dividends.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think it would be a good idea to talk about Star Wars' little brother, Indiana Jones. Because
Little brother?
yes, it came out after the original Star Wars. I mean, it came out after the first Star Wars two Star Wars movies, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it is the initial idea is the brainchild of George Lucas.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, he had the idea of like a man in a way of excavating and finding ancient treasures. He wanted to helm back to like the old movie serials from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. He wanted to bring it to a new era. So that was definitely like the impetus of that idea is like was his. I don't like. There's all kinds of different little things he came up with. Obviously, he did at least half the writing for the less beloved Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I do not. I don't dislike that movie. I just think like. I say at least half of it works. Half of it I'm just like you didn't need to go in that kind of direction. But at the same time, like we are still building off of it because we're getting Dial of Destiny, which will be the 5th movie in the franchise. You thought Harrison Ford was old back in 2008. He's really old.
It wasn't the older.
No. Like I remember, there was a lot of people's big concern, but I'm just like. Even for how old he is, like he can still do a lot for his age. I'm just like, there's a lot of far less mobile men that are like 80 years old.
Yeah, he's about to be Red Hulk, so I'm quite sure he's gonna knock it apart.
Of course, he doesn't know what the hell Red Hulk is, which is not surprising at all.
His I'm a granny pothead. Like, oh, dude, come on, Harrison. Dude, if he walked through that door right now, I wouldn't talk shit. It just.
Oh yeah, like as much as we, kind of laugh at his towards demeanor. Like, as soon as he gets in front of the camera, as good chemistry with a director, like he turns off all of his cynicism. It just plays a great character. Like he is able to separate himself as Harrison Ford and whatever legacy character he's playing at that moment.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, and like that's a testament. You can like truly transform yourself when you're playing a role. We had, 3 movies back in the '80s. You know, for the most part, but
Huh?
I'm talking about Indiana Jones.
I know, no, but a weird. You know how I apologize, everybody, but I thought of Forrest Gump as being Thanos. Like life is like a box of Infinity Stones. You never know what's going to get, and it just popped in my head. That's.
Can you explain Forrest Gump with Infinity Stones
I don't
and chocolates?
I don't know. I don't know. I knew we were on a topic, and all of a sudden, it's like, you ever seen Ghostbusters when the thing just pops in his head, like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man?
Yeah.
I couldn't help it. It just popped in there like, I'm like, I want to explore this, but like, stop, be a good brain. Like, no, we're gonna talk about this. I'm like, no, but yeah, it just popped in my head, and I see him sitting on the bench. I don't want Forrest. I want Thanos sitting there with a box of chocolates, huge, and the girl tries to sit down. She just slides. Life is like a book. Look, Josh Brolin, full Thanos. You never know what you're gonna get. I'm sorry. It just popped in my head, and now I can't stop thinking about it. But one chance.
Or we can have a purple Tom Hanks.
We give the same Thanos the same haircut that Forrest had. That's that.
Oh, the military haircut.
Yes. And wait. Instead of having Infinity Gauntlet, he had the Infinity bracelets. Like, run, Thanos, run.
For the most part, there's pretty much, wide acclaim for the original 3 movies. There's a lot of criticisms towards, the darker tone of Temple of Doom. Even got us the PG-13 rating score that didn't exist before. And depending on what television edit you watch, you may not see all of the carping ripped out.
Yeah. I feel in India, or certain areas, they cut that completely.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can understand. It's like it's playing with a lot of racialized stereotypes.
Horrible.
And not only are that, there's a lot of misplaced ones, because I'm like, well, why do they have a voodoo doll? I'm like, that's Haitian. It's like, oh, it's whatever those brown people we don't understand.
I think they just mixed a bunch of stuff up and see what hit stuck to the wall. It's like, culturally, they weren't thinking about anybody being offended. They're just like, we're gonna do this.
Well, apparently there was one line where it seemed like they were trying to play on something a little more complicated, because there was a deleted. There was a line that they were going to have Harrison say, in that movie, where he was just like, any of these devout Hindus would be vegetarian. They're just trying to scare us, but they cut that out. I'm just like, well,
that would have been that.
Yeah, I'm like, it doesn't shield you all from the stereotypes, but at least makes it seem like you are more aware of the way you're writing this. But I'm just like, I decided to cut it out because I'm like, 80s. But that being said, my favorite character of the entire Indiana Jones series is Short Round.
Oh. I had to, when you said this to me earlier, I had to flip through my Rolodex of Indiana Jones characters.
Yeah.
Only person that comes close is Brody. No. Take that back. It was a toss-up between Brody and
Henry Sr.
Because that Junior, that was, I love, matter of fact, we should watch that. I want to see not the last,
Last Crusade.
Last Crusade, not the last
installment.
Short Round was freaking perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Oh, they bring him back for the last movie.
Mm-hmm. Or hell, I'm like, give that actor his own Disney Plus series.
Short Round?
Yeah, why not?
Wait. Okay, all right. Okay. Do we go back to a younger Asian boy?
I think you can have flashback scenes that like an actor that's captures similar energy to him in the 80s, but I think just give him an entire different adventure story, maybe take place in the 70s. So you can be as old.
Yeah, what the fuck happened? Excuse me, what the hell happened to Short Round after the movie?
Well, he was in that movie. He was in.
Because did he have is he have parents?
Oh, the character.
Short round, yeah, and if
he's an orphan.
100%.
Like his parents are dead. Like they mentioned that like his parents died in a war, and that Indy becomes his father figure, and like
dude, where the hell he's at the end of the movie? What the fuck happened? He said, I can't take you back to the States, kid. Like, what the hell?
What we learned if there's a legacy character played by Harrison Ford, either he's a father that's not really in the kid's life, or he's not a good parent. Because he wasn't the best parent as Han Solo. And, as Indy, he didn't even know he had a kid until he was like 19. And I'm like, even as Rick Deckard, he didn't know he had a child the whole time. So either circumstantially or by, the character's like own inability, like, but at the same time, like that gives, interesting conflict. Even though I know a lot of people crap on Crystal Skull, I do think there are a lot of things redeeming of it. I think South Park went way too far. How butthurt they were over that movie. Like, get over it.
Well, no. They had. I understand. They're also trying to be funny.
Yeah, but I'm just like it came out at the perfect time of like people my age and a little older, just like everyone wants to be edgy online about their opinions.
This has always been South Park.
Yeah, but I'm just like, I just thought it was ridiculous and not good. Just because you're known for doing stupid things, outlandish things, and like doesn't mean I have to like all of them. Like there's a lot of episodes I'm like I do not care for.
Okay, fair enough.
But at the same token, like one of my favorite things from that movie is that when Indy meets Mutt and doesn't know he's his son, and Mutt's like, I didn't really do the college thing. He's just like, oh, do whatever you want. But as soon as he finds out that his biological son, he's like, you need to go to college. I'm just like, okay, it's a funny joke.
Yeah.
That they included. But we're excited to see what they're going to be doing with the movie. Like I like the idea that they're bringing back Nazis by doing like a little bit of like a connection to like Operation Paperclip, where they're like helping NASA, and they're bringing back Sala. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And you can't go wrong with Mads Mikkelsen playing a villain.
God damn it! Yeah, he's pretty perfect.
And he's also being added to the list of actors that are Indiana Jones and Star Wars. So we got Harrison Ford, we got Phoebe Waller-Bridge who played L3, and we have Mads Mikkelsen who played Galen Erso in Rogue One. Good.
What's the name of the other guy, the bad guy in Rogue One? Not Mads Mikkelsen, but
Ben Mendelsohn.
But no, what's the other guy? Now I'm thinking of the other guy from Glorious Bastards.
Oh, sorry, Christoph.
That's a bingo. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I would cross the street if I saw him walking towards me. the initial joy of seeing him.
At the same time, he also plays Dr. King Schultz.
Yes. Like, dude. And Glorious Bastards. Have a glass of delicious milk. Like, no, you can't have shit. Get the fuck out of my place, bro.
I'm interested to see what they're gonna do. I personally like Temple of Doom the most, just because I think it's more fun. I'm in it, and it's just like a nonstop thrill ride. Like the other movies, I probably acknowledge that they're probably done structurally better. Like at least Last Crusade and Raiders of the Lost Ark. But sometimes it's just like I just feel like I'm in a ride, and when they're in the carts, I'm like I feel that.
They did a good job shooting that. I was watching a documentary on how they were shot. Some of those, it is like, dude, these guys are freaking incredible. Before CG, and I still get the same vibe of suspense that you're talking about. Hell, Mola Ram alone, when he was trying to dig into grab the hearts and stuff like that in the process of in Temple of Doom, that whole scene, the music, the whole, it's damn near a perfect movie. So after you have all that, then The Last Crusade, oh, this is great.
Hmm.
Indiana Jones has been in a slowly improvement of everything. Everything wasn't a huge jump, but I think, matter of fact, I need to watch The Crystal Skull one more time. I think it was shot beautifully.
Yeah, I think I would say 90% of the shots, like unless you get to like vine swinging, just like is good. Like Spielberg didn't lose his magic of cinematography in that time period.
He directed it?
Yeah.
Really?
All the ones except for this new one, which is done by James Mangold, is directed by him. James Mangold did Wolverine, Logan, Ford versus Ferrari.
I've seen Ford versus Ferrari.
You've seen Logan. You've seen Wolverine. The one where he goes to Japan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just flipping through my Rolodex. I really liked how Logan and Wolverine looked.
Yeah.
And Ford versus Ferrari, there was some scenes where the cars were running. I think he put Ford in his car, like he said, hit it. He was just taking it. This is a big movie for him, isn't it?
Yeah. But Logan, Wolverine were really big, and like especially Logan, because at first Fox is like, okay, obviously Wolverine's big, but I'm like, how would more gritty R-rated one that it blew up and then almost everybody loves it, so I'm like,
it was a great movie. It was a great movie. To see Weapon X, not Weapon 23 X-23. Was it
played by Daphne King, who's going to be in Star Wars now.
Guess what?
She's going to be a character in the Acolyte series. It's coming to Disney Plus.
A force user?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, fuck yeah. That little girl. Another person I see walking down the street. I'm crossing the street like,
I mean, obviously, it's been a couple years, so she's like 18, 19 now.
It's been that long.
Yeah.
God damn, I'm getting old quick. It's like when you get older, the time. Like, Jesus Christ.
Well, to be fair, a lot of people's sense of time kind of went out the window during COVID.
It did. 100%.
It was like, oh snap, that was 3 years. Oh snap, that was crazy.
That was 3 years ago, wasn't it?
It started in spring of 2020.
God damn it.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway,
sorry.
To talk more about Star Wars, we went to Indy, and Indy obviously has a lot of crossover. Is the brain, it is the connection between the great friendship of Lucas and Spielberg, undoubtedly. But let's go back to more strictly Star Wars. I thought before the month's end, we would celebrate Pride Month by discussing queer characters that end up on screen. Because I'm like, if I start talking about comics and books, I'm like, we're going to be here too long, and you're going to be like, who?
Fair enough. So are we going with R2, C3PO first?
I'm going with confirmed.
Okay.
Backed up by dialogue, a kiss, a hug. Romantic.
R2 is definitely a bear.
Probably one of the more well-known ones is Vel Sartha and Cinta Kaz from Andor.
Oh yeah. Which I can't wait for that to come back. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I try to stick as best as I could to the
confirmed.
Not only confirmed, but to the letters in LGBTQ. I try to stick with it as much as I could going down.
Aren't you fancy?
Lamar Dacey and Roby Tice. Lamar Dacey is the curly blonde-haired woman, a bit older. She is the one that mentions that Akbar died. She asks, no one came when they're in the bunker. She is the one to break the news about Leia's passing. In Rise of Skywalker. She has a kiss with her wife that in some film markets where it's cut out because of their homophobia.
It was like 3 seconds, if that.
It's like it's like 1 second. It's like you blink and you'll miss it, kind of thing. Another character. So those are lesbian characters. A male homosexual character. We have Tarkin.
Grand Admiral Tarkin?
Grand Moff Tarkin. He was confirmed gay in dialogue of a certain point of view, released in 2017, which takes characters' points of view from the first.
I don't see that as a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. Matter of fact, you're like, whoa. Oh.
Like, and this was some information he didn't want coming out. And he definitely reads as not a romantic type. He seems like kind of like hit it, quit it kind of guy.
Hit it, quit it.
Yeah, he was in a relationship with TK421, which was the stormtrooper that actually shows up in the movie.
A clone trooper or
stormtrooper?
Okay.
Then we're going to bisexual characters. Marin from Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order, in a book called Battle Scars, released this year, I believe. She had a very brief relationship with a girl before she ended up with Cal. Another bisexual character we have is Padme in Queen's Shadow.
Really?
Yes, in Queen's Shadow. So there's been multiple books. Well, I guess it's a trilogy done by one author about Padme between episodes 1 and 2, and explores a lot of her character, and I really like the writing in them. It mentions that she has had romantic interest with her handmaidens in the past, a few of them, in her teen years.
Still got with Anakin.
Yeah. Like, you can still...
Oh, no. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to build walls of what people could say. I know it's fluid. Like,
yeah.
Whatever floats your boat.
Akmina. Yes, okay. So, remember the holiday special, right? You remember the waitress?
I try not to.
You remember the waitress?
Yes.
Who was played by one of the Golden Girls?
Was it?
Yes.
Which one?
B. Arthur, right?
No, B. Arthur is Dorothy.
Okay, Dorothy plays Akmina. She's in this movie.
Are you serious?
Yes, she is confirmed in a book.
Thank you for being a friend. Give me some blue milk.
She's mentioned also in the same book a certain point of view as once having a wife back in the day. Now it's interesting that her first appearance is in something that's non-canon, but she has been brought, in subsequent books into canon. So
after this, I need to see a picture of her in outfit. I remember seeing the holiday special when I was a kid and I was really young. I was like, this doesn't seem the same. What is going on? I was so excited.
You're like more Star Wars fans.
Yes! I was like, this is great. I couldn't bring myself to say, I don't like this. But I didn't like it.
Mostly stand by the anime segment. Like, I know it's weird, but I think it's probably by far the best thing about that. But it's not good.
I was a dumb kid at the time. I just wanted something. I just wanted more Star Wars, and this was what they gave me. I like that. Maybe that's what the guys at South Park felt. Mm-hmm. All they wanted was more indie, and they didn't get something that I don't know.
It didn't feel like as it was from when they were younger. Another confirmed bisexual character is Obi-Wan Kenobi. In a book called Padawan, released this year, it talks about before episode 1, he contemplates kissing guys.
Wait. I see Obi-Wan in the bar going, hello there.
He's like, attachment's forbidden, but I might have to make an
exception.
One of these names bring up, set a portion of the Star Wars internet on fire. Now, this character pissed off, some of the toxic fans of Star Wars. I'm like, you know what? Good. Chances are, if they're upset, it's usually a pretty good thing. But Luke Skywalker is confirmed bisexual in a short story called Luke on the bright side. He has a deep crush
Wait,
on
wait,
Haas.
wait.
male
Are they
soldier
more
Rebel.
upset that he might be bisexual than he actually kissed his sister?
Oh, the fandom menace gets upset over the wrong kinds of things.
Like Jesus Christ! Like
as soon as like there's woman or a character of color, they're just like, see, it's all gone woke. It's all been destroyed. I'm just like, y'all are idiots. Y'all are morons. But yeah, Solace Nibiru. Okay, so this is a character who is confirmed asexual, and she only appears in deleted scenes of Attack of the Clones. She is Padme's sister.
not by blood, obviously.
Yes, by blood. Like in those deleted scenes, we see her mother and her father. You see them briefly in Revenge of the Sith as funeral goers, but they cut.
How many
cut,
brothers and sisters Padme have?
I think she has 2 sisters and 1 brother.
Huh.
Yeah, but they decided to cut that subplot of like him, Anakin meeting her parents from the movie.
That would be a good idea. Like, hey, I'm shocking up with your daughter right now. She's pregnant. Hey.
I mean, it still happened. We
didn't see it.
You mean you can like hunt it down on YouTube and like have a little scene.
Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, imagine calling him on a tricorder or something like that. Like, hey, Anakin, have you heard from Padme? We've been trying to like. Oh, you sound different. You got a cold. Hate to break it to you. She was force choked. What about? She was pregnant. What about the grandkids?
This other character upset at toxic fans, and this is Keo Benzi. This was a new character introduced to Star Wars Squadrons, which was a piloting video game that came out recently. Where you can play as the X-wing pilot, you can play as a TIE-wing pilot, and
How recent is recent?
Like 2 or 3 years ago.
I haven't seen it yet. If I did see it, I just don't remember.
You've seen a bit, and you're just like, oh, snap, I'm going to get this, and it's going to be a time.
That's why I can't have a game system. I would lose
so much time.
Yes.
But yeah, this character is confirmed as non-binary, and the pronouns they use are they and them.
Okay. I think people are more upset having an Asian character or a person of color in the show, or a person who might identify as gay, than actually having sex with another creature from another galaxy. Mm-hmm. That's insane.
Oh yeah, like the absurdity is like, you know, like they do a lot of group things. So they're just like, oh, if this one person says it's a negative thing, that I have to agree with them because we're aligned, and not like have an honest discussion. Just immediately go to like a negative well in the fandom, and it's a thing that is very profitable right now. Grifting is a very good way to get money on YouTube, faking upsetness about properties.
There was a guy somebody highlighted recently. He's homosexual, but he raised against homosexuality. I don't wear wigs, I don't do this and all this stuff. Like, but there's video of him doing this at one time, and what he thought like a few years ago, he's just like flipping, not being true to himself, and he just playing to the toxic people on the internet. Whatever they want to hear, he says. Yeah. Just to get money and just to get recognition. It's like truly selling your soul. Because the very moment the people you pander to turn on you, you gonna run back. You gonna run back to the people you should have been saying, oh my God, I can't believe they did this to me. And they gonna sit there and look at you like, really? Yeah. Really? I don't understand it. It's very easy with non-talented people to get recognition for being horrible people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're confirmed. A pansexual character is Sabe. She is the main handmaiden of in the body double in Phantom Menace for Padme.
Okay, all right.
And another character that set the internet ablaze is Lando.
Dude, Lando fucks everything.
Yeah,
He has sex with a robot.
No, they were already upset with him smashing a robot, but they were more upset about the possibility that he may not be straight.
I think people,
especially because he's an original trilogy character, and they're just like, oh my gosh, look what the company's doing.
I find people who complain about other people's sexuality are not comfortable in their own, and they're projecting.
Or it's a grift.
Oh, a grift.
Yeah, just like if you can exploit other people's upsetness, it's like boom, you can get yourself like
the Alex Jones model.
Yeah, Alex Jones, Candace Owens, Milo Yiannopoulos.
I've never heard of that one, but remember that what's that? The Double Toasted.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys that they were talking to, he knew Alex before this.
Yeah,
and this is not him.
He was totally different. He made a character that would divide people and make super money.
If you sit, that's asinine.
Oh yes, absolutely. People in the Star Wars fandom need to call this kind of thing out because it's not just in your typical like political like commentary. It's leading into fandoms where people will like use this kind of rhetoric and try to plan a terrorist attack against the London celebration. Like that just happened, and they were talking about how they were influenced by people in Fandom Menace. Like it's the same thing happened with comics. Same thing, happened with video games. We had Gamergate. We had Comicsgate. Like Fandom Menace is just the Star Wars version of those things about bringing the worst out of people. Another confirmed pansexual character is Vice Admiral Amberlynn Holdo. I
can see that.
Yeah. But I was saying, Vice Admiral Holdo has been confirmed as pan. In the book called Leia, Princess of Alderaan, she says to Leia, just like, why does it always have to be a guy? Like it can be a woman. She's just like, I'll get whatever I think is beautiful. It's basically what her sentiment was.
Matter of fact, that whole conversation that he had with O'Dameron, that whole thing when he was trying to get information after they thought Leia she wasn't incapacitated and she took the reins. That whole conversation makes sense. It makes so much more sense after you brought that to my attention. Because I didn't think of Holdo of anything sexually. Mm-hmm. It just didn't. And she was a character. But now I hear that and how she sees what you just told me just then. That makes so much more sense. And I think it enriches her character and gives depth to the character that I didn't know about. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
So to end this episode, to bring in a Claudian level of Gupshido, I know the answer to the question, but you know a character named Strono?
No, I don't.
Cookie Tugs.
Cookie Tugs?
Cookie is his nickname. Okay, I'm going to show you a picture of Strono Cookie Tugs.
Okay, so
he shows up in the movies. Okay,
which one?
Force Awakens.
So he's obviously some type of butcher.
Okay, he's a chef. If you're wondering.
Oh, okay. Where?
Okay, so put your brain back into Force Awakens. Okay.
Okay.
We have Rey, Finn, and Han going up a staircase to Maz Kanata's castle.
Oh, but everybody's in there, dude.
Okay, so right after he says, after Han Solo says any of it, when they open the doors, there's a big sweeping shot of a bunch of different aliens. Mm-hmm. One of them is this big lumbering guy with a knife, and he shows up in another shot. Maz Kanata asked, "Where's my boyfriend?" Okay. He is the resident chef of Maz Kanata's castle.
I wouldn't let him touch shit. I'm sorry. Does he have all his fingers? Yeah.
He just has a deformed face for his race.
Okay, but dude, that's hate to judge a book by its cover, but goddamn.
His alien race is called a Artodec.
Let me guess, Mars probably named him Cookie, didn't he?
It
seems like something she would do.
I don't know. We just know that Cookie became his nickname.
I'm willing to bet.
And he has worked at Moscow's castle for centuries.
I'm willing to bet money that's what happened. Because Mars is a different way I like that with that whole, where's my boyfriend? That, calling somebody Cookie. I had a lady at my job I used to do custom framing call me Cookie all the time. I never knew why. So when you said it, like, all right, it was based off this Italian guy in some TV show she liked, and they called him Cookie. So I was sweet and I was nice and generous. She called me Cookie, and
you can relate to this character.
Yeah, I'm like, really, like, I don't like none of this. So as soon as you said Cookie, I looked like, motherfucker. Roll back and look at the camera. I'm quite sure I gave my son a look like, you son of a bitch. So I looked at him like,
Yeah. But yeah, he's just like a big lumbering guy, and from like information I got from Wikipedia, it seems like everyone's like pretty cool with him. He's a little surly, but he seems to be like a nice person for people to hang around with.
What's his whole name again? One more time.
Strono. Quotation marks. Cookie Tugs.
Fuck.
Strono Tugs. AKA Cookie. But yeah, like, a frequent thing that Star Wars would do is like, okay, a movie is about to come out or just has come out, and we get a bunch of tie-in books. Like they do big tie-in comics, novels, board games, whatever, right? Because like you always want to be up for what's the next hot thing. Like I remember, around the time Last Jedi was coming out, we got a book about a bunch of aliens from Counterbind. So for the release of Force Awakens, we got a book, but individual stories about the characters in Maz's castle. And he was one of them, and we find out that like early on in working at Maz's castle, like his sous chef was killed, and like he was given the blame for that, and then he was like doing a little bit of investigating to figure out who killed his sous chef. And then like I don't know, maybe 200, 300 years, 400 years later, like we see him, and he is present for when Maz's castle is attacked, but he walks out to see Hosnian Prime be destroyed, so he didn't get destroyed by rubble. We do not know the current whereabouts of Mr. Tugs.
He's in Baltimore. That's where he's at.
But yeah, we don't know exactly where Tugs is. Is he safe? Is he all right? We don't know.
I'm gonna go watch this now so I can see him. I'm sitting here like, I'm gonna watch. Crystal's gonna give it another chance. Fuck that. I want to see Tugs.
I mean, like, I can bring you to the moment where he shows up and go,
no.
Look, point.
No, I want to see Maz, because that's another thing I wanted to see more of Maz because I kind of liked her character. They did all this building up to her in the Force Awakens. Did they not see her into a video chat or something like that? And it's just,
I didn't have a problem with that because I'm like, she's like, she's made to just give exposition of like how to get to this point, and I'm like, I don't see it as a bad thing because I'm like, there's all kinds of hollow calls of someone saying you had to do this, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, but
now.
Who was holding the goddamn camera?
Well,
there was an actual fight going on the entire time, and did she have a droid that's got a camera on her?
Who says you can't have a droid?
I never seen that type of shot in Star Wars. Usually they're at a display somewhere. Locked down. You can have a phone in your hand.
But like it's to me, it's similar to how if you watch movies and a character's having a flashback, they just reuse footage instead of having it in point of view.
Yeah, but somebody had to shoot it.
Okay, but did someone shoot in a different camera's point of view, looking at yourself for a flashback?
That wasn't a flashback, though.
No. Like, I know you've seen movies and television where a character has flashbacks of things that have happened before.
Yes.
And they just reuse footage from a previous season, episode, or another installment, right?
Yeah.
But they don't recreate everything to be in that one character's point of view, because sometimes you'll see shots of themselves when they were younger as that kind of thing. So I'm like, I understand if you want to get in the nitty gritty of like, okay, on a technical level, it makes no sense, but I'm like, on a narrative, like it works as that. It works as telling the story.
I know there's like somebody holding that camera that has to have them looking at Nas as she's shooting, and I want to see the cameraman working Nas's thing as she's talking, and getting horny about the guy with the red plum bloom. I'm like, like what the?
If I get hired by Lucasfilm Publishing, I'll make a book about that dude that owns the camera.
You bring him fucking Cookie Tugs, and you can't bring up who's the cameraman.
Don't worry, I'll name Biscuit. Biscuit will be.
Keep still, Mom. Like, I got to keep this camera nice and tight on you. That took me out of it, because I knew somebody had to be holding it. Something or someone is tracking her the entire time as she's doing all this stuff. Then she flies off like, I think you should leave me here to fight these fuckers.
You know what I mean? Like, that scene doesn't take me out of anything. But you know what? There's like two very, very, very small things in that movie that take me out just a little bit. That the Canterbury Police just have like a very earth-sounding like telecall. Yeah. That takes me out, because like I feel like a police officer is like right behind me when I hear that, and not like I'm in a different world. Another thing is when there's a father chase, like the camera like kind of falls and tilts in one shot.
I can see it,
yeah. And like I notice it so much that I'm thinking about, I'm watching like a movie thing. I'm not watching like a world, but at the same time, practically everything else, like I love to death. Like it's my favorite of the franchise, my favorite movie. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, you know, just because I love it so much, it doesn't mean that it's not like little things that just like could have been edited just a little bit.
Everybody can say that. You say about my artwork and the stuff I do. I'm not saying that. It just, since I do video editing and animation and graphics all the time, when I saw that, I'm like, who's holding the camera? Mm-hmm. And I think I got upset because Maz was one of my favorite characters from Force Awakens. I liked her. As soon as Han walked in, she's like, she knew Han Solo. Like, it's like somebody I know, and I just liked her.
So yeah, like you can get into nitty gritty of like little things that are just kind of odd, but at the same time, like what's more important is how to make it feel and what is the movie trying to say. I feel like a lot of people that talk about movies and like review movies don't really talk about what the story is trying to say with its characters. Like that becomes so much of an aside for a lot of people, and also like film editing techniques and like cinematography just like become so second to just immediately like of how does it add up with this character and that character, like and that's all good and well, but I feel like it needs to be more of a well-balanced meal of like discussions about film entirely. And before when I was doing reviews as you can still find me as Krypton Critics, I wasn't thinking as much about it as I do now. I think part of that is my maturity and more movies I've exposed myself to since then. But yeah, like I think it's all interesting, and I'm interested to see Dial of Destiny. Obviously, we're still waiting for Ahsoka to come out. I'm reading a Star Wars book that I'm slowly getting through, because I've never physically read a full Star Wars book. I've listened to audiobooks multiple times.
I think we got plenty of books in the house, though.
But fully read Star Wars books, like I haven't done. Because, you know, sometimes dedicating that much attention can be an issue for me. I'm just like, I'll read a chapter, I'm like, oh, that was pretty cool, and then I get distracted by something else. I'm like, I'm doing art, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and before I know it, I'm just like, oh, I don't even remember what happened last time. I have to go back. But this is a book that I'm now actually trying to steadily get through. It is a longer book, but I'm like, I'm going to do this, and I've got like 33% through. Playbook tells me I got 33% through.
Okay.
And I'm interested in. I love that is giving me context for Red Skywalker, because Lando just kind of drops exposition, just like, oh yeah, me and Luke went to look for Ochi and like yada yada yada. I'm just like, okay, there's a lot to be dropping on me, but this book thoroughly goes into all of that.
Right.
But yeah, this has been Honest Klaud. Check us out if you want to hear about me ramble about Mutt being Snoke. You go watch streaming Star Wars last episode.
I couldn't even make it through the whole thing. It was the most insane.
You can't say it's not funny though.
It's not. I didn't say it wasn't funny. It was very funny. It was very funny. It involved me.
Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.